of you. Okay, our topic this afternoon, remember, it's about art and music of India. So for today, we're going to review the topic since a day of 2 days from now or by Thursday, our schedule for our exam for the mastery test. So this would be our coverage in music, arts, PE, health, or MAPI subject. So just remember, when we talk about music in India, it is very important part of their culture since they consider it as a sacred form of artistic expressions for people of India. In the beginnings, remember that dates back of the ancient times, over the centuries, the Indians have developed their own musical style, form, and principle of composition that is extremely different. Not the same, but it's different from the Western orientation. Just like ours in the Philippines, we have the Holy Trinity, one God. In India, they have three goddesses, which are God Brahma, or Hindu God Brahma, Hindu God Vishnu, and Hindu God Shiva. Wherein Brahma, he is considered as the first god in the Hindu triumvirate or trimurti, and considered as responsible for the creation, upkeep, and destruction of the world. The other two gods, which I've mentioned, the god Vishnu is considered as the god preserver, or the god of considered as the preserver and the protector of the universe. So his role is to return to the earth in times of troubles and restore the balance of good and evil. They have also what we call Hindu god Shiva, the destroyer, for meditation and arts. He is the divine. He has the symbolizes the fivefold aspects of the divine, of the control of the universe, namely creation, preservation, destruction, illusion, and grace. When he dances, Shiva, it matters, energy, and sound are sorted out through the vibration of his drum and such as created as he moves. So those are the different gods and goddesses. And let's move on to some of their elements of music, which are the timbre, rhythm, harmony, texture, form, and melody. Now, when it comes to rhythm, these are such as sitar. And they also uses a rhythmic, elaborate metric system, Indian, Tala, and when it comes to, remember when you say raga, it means um, using the softest syllables such as do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Use for them. They have what we call the saraga padani, while when it comes to tala, they have different number of beats. When we say 6 beats, so we say tala, that means beat, or we simply know that one as a rhythm. So when we talk about 6 beats, that is dadra tala, 8 beats kirhawa tala, 12 beats ektala, um, another 12 beats which have chautala, 14 beats we have jumratala, and the 16 beats you have 16 tala. Now, there have also what we call vocal music. These are the following, and it's one way to express their deep devotion to their gods and goddesses. When we say, so it must, it could be a way of For us, we call that somewhat ballad. For them, they call that gangal. Other form of vocal, which what we call the lakshanget, is a style which is oriented toward musical education. So this is more on educational purposes. Just like ours, we have the solfege, mga songs na pang school. Then the shawarma latika for pedagogic purposes, same for education purposes. Sargam, it uses used instead of words. Then we have the Tamil, the land in the Tamil, so it's some kind of folk. Vijaya or Vijaya is what we call the farewell song. So love songs are not songs that could be intended for those loved ones, their loved ones. Now, there is also a different musical instruments in India, and it is classified into different classifications. We have the membranophone, chordophone, idiophone, and um, aerophone. So we are gonna use the Indian term for the following. So when we talk about idiophone, means gun, gun. Okay, GHAN, gun. It describes the membranous percussion instrument, but with a solid resonators. So it could be made of bamboo, it could be made of wood, it could be made of metal. So these are the following. You have the katam, kartal, minjara. So these are the following instruments we considered as that's idiophone. Next up is what we call the membranophone, or in Indian term, they call that abanad. Abanad. So those are tabla, daf, dan, or dul. Then when it comes to bansuri, these are an example of aerophone. So in Indian term for aerophone is susher. Susher. So the following examples are bansuri, shenai, shanka, surpeti. So these are the following. Aside from the sorpete, the aerophones, or what we call the susher in India, we have a different instrument of that, and these are the bansuri, shinai, shanka, sorpete. Now remember that the different instrument also, aside from the aerophone, there is also what we call the chordophone, which is the tat. In in Indian term, that is as term as tat. In English, that is a chordophone. It refers to the those are instrument being plucked, and these are the sitar, rubab, gutu, badyam, and iktara. So again, these are the following instruments considered as the chordophone that is being strum, pluck. Okay, the chordophone in Indian term is called tat, T-A-T. Then another is we have the bowed instrument, or we call that as vitat. described as bowed. There is a aside from the string, it is all still considered a string, but it uses a bow in order to produce a sound. These are the following: bandam, banam, azraj, chikara, and the sarangi. So those are the different musical instrument in India. Now let's move on to the instruments of or art in India. For the female, that is what they call sari, while for the male, that is what they call dhoti. Dhoti is a strips of cloth wrapped around the waist level of the man, and it could be embroidered, it could be ornamented, depending on the class or the status of an Indian man or a man. While the sari, it is also around 4 to 5 meters length without any stitch rather, and it mostly folded lang and wrapped around still in the waist, and it hangs all over, drape over the shoulder that covers the part of yung makover yung sa midrib part or dito sa belly ng babae. Then you have also the dalstar, or we call that turban. Another term is turban, worn by Sikh community of India. It is a symbol of faith and the values such as honor and spirituality. Most of the color are orange or monochrome of ochre. So it's somewhat orange or orangey or dark red or light darker red, bright red. Women also has what we call the red at the center of their eyebrows that is bendy, that would signify that they are married. Then another what we call one of their famous form of art, which is the Statue of Ganesha, considered as the reverence for life, is much tip, typified by the Hindus in creating a statue. The god of light and festival, that is Ganesha. So every time there is a Diwali festival in India, they offer that to Ganesh or Ganesha. It is plated with gold sheets. Now, next form of art is the painting. Wherein painting in India is a medium of stating spiritual ideas. So dito makikita um, yung kanilang and it shows the reward of good and evil deeds in the world. Most of their paintings makikita kung ano yung kanilang life. It could be their daily life. By the mid of 20th century, the Indian painting has become more international, and Indian artists were working in a different foreign styles. So not only that, they also applied some Western style. Okay, there are some of the examples of their paintings, and one of their famous painting is the Tanjore painting, or Tanjavur painting, wherein it comes from the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu. That requires very expensive material since they are using a gold foil for that. High quality of gold foil along with semi-precious stones or precious stones. So yun ang nilalagay na aside from using other mediums like color or oil, they're using that. It was often done in walls of palaces of the Chula kingdom. There are also examples to that. Now, in India, they consider their sculpture and carving as the most important art in India. For they would tell dito makikita kung their way of life, their reverence to God, the religion. It has more decoration rather than the architectural setting. So, very intricate yung kanilang pag-carve o yung pag-sculpt nila. One of the famous sculpture is the Mathura Buddha, wherein this Buddha figure seated on a lion throne and carved out with sandstorm in from Mathura, a city in the northern part of India. So that is one of their example. The second example of their carving is we have the Queen Maya who gives birth to Buddha. So before nagiging Buddha yung kanyang anak, his name is Siddhartha Gautama, who became Buddha and considered as the enlightened one. Now, when it comes to architecture in India, one of their famous architecture is the Taj Mahal, wherein it is considered as a mosque, and that was built in 1631 to 1653 by Shah Jahan in honor for his wife. So that's how he loves his wife. He made this Taj Mahal as his tomb of his wife. Another famous architecture is the Akshardham Temple in New Delhi, wherein one of its characteristics is remarkable complex ornaments and the use of pyramidal roofs. And of course, there is a spiral domes, termites, and delicate finials. So when we say finials, these are of the roof. There is a decoration. It could be a cross. It could be a curvilinear text line or design. So it depends upon the artistry of the architect. Next, we have the Harmandir Sahib in Amritsar, India. Its characteristics, it uses a marble white with a balance of structured towers in the same imposing pure dominance like pyramidal Hindu temple. Then you have there another architectural, which is Henna Temple. Hence, the India has this what we called Hinduism religion. 79% of them practices Hinduism. So around 2 million per se, 2 million or more of their Hindu temples found in their country. One of the characteristics still uses a white marble and other materials such as jasper, jade, crystal, turquoise, sapphire, and carnelian. Next famous architecture is the Lux Temple. It looks like a lotus flower, wherein still uses a white marble as their material. Earth clay, there is also stone, a natural mixture of the indigenous materials found in their country. They have also what they call, aside from those architects' sculpture carvings, they have also this musical instrument that made of wood, steel, nylon strings, animal hide, rattan, and nylon rope, and that is the dudro-banam. And it is some kind of bowed string instrument. Now, when it comes to statue, they have this what they call carvings and sculptures, which are made of brass, bronze, clay, wood, porcelain, silver, and gold. Indian has also textiles and shawls, which pattern according to the things that they could see around their country or around their region. They have also what they call Indian carpet, wherein it also shows intricate designs. They have also furnitures, and even they have also what they call terracotta. One of their famous is the potter's craft, which has origin in India, the early days of Mohenjo-daro in 2500 BC. The artistic representation of these items of the yore indicate them to be pieces of excellence of craftsmanship. It would be possibly the embodiment of the Indian religion expression imported through the clays. Through their paintings, makikita again their religious aspect. They have also what we call the Bankura horse, which is heavily decorated and made of rich red clay. Some of the best terracotta figures are found in Bodom, Mudhizabad, Hubli, and Digha. Another art which is famous on the skin using dyes. The color is brown, but there are also others like white, black, red, and gold. It is also popularly called as Henna Tattoo. So here in the Philippines, we have that mostly in during Sinulog time. However, it is traditionally used by brides for henna parties that are wedding traditions in the Middle Eastern and North African culture. Mostly a day before the wedding, the bride usually have this henna tattoo or mendi art in her hands or entire fingers and hands or in her feet. Another form of art is what we call the Rangoli. Rangoli comes from the Sanskrit term Rangavali, which means color. This art has a colorful patterns that are used dyed powders made through crushing elements like rice, leaves, charcoal, and sawdust. So in other words, this Rangoli is termed as floor art in India. They have also one of the famous festival. This is what I've mentioned earlier, the Diwali Festival. It is a 5-day festival known as the Festival of Light. It is celebrated in the late fall and it is usually linked in Hinduism, but Buddhism, Sikhism, and Jainism have this occasion in their religion as well. So mostly people, places, or have a light in a pot, or they have also rangoli in it. So rangoli and Diwali could be also done in a way in that day that particular day. Another form of art is the dance. They have Indian classical dances, and these are the following: the Bharata Bharata Natyam, the Kathakali, Manipuri, Odissi, Satriya, Mohit, Mohiniyattam, Kuchipudi, and Kathak. Kathak dance is a native dance from North India, in which it is regarded to have come from the Kathakars or storytellers who told ancient mythology in Indian epics through rhythmic footwork, hand gestures, facial expressions, and eye work. It became part of the Hindu and Islamic culture of Mughal courts. So those are Kathak dance is one of their famous, still portraying every movement that they made. There is a specific meaning. Even the eyes, movement of the hands, their feet, and even the movement of the head, so on and so forth. They have this meaning. So there you go, guys. Our review about Indian art and music. I hope you're able to refresh your mind regarding this topic, and good luck. I'll see you then.